to all of you, and today we are going to talk about a topic which might be familiar to all of us. It is called File System Interface, as we can see in the PowerPoint presentation. Stay tuned for more information.
In this discussion, the objectives are to explain the functions of a file system, to describe the interface to file system, and to discuss the file system components, attributes, fundamentals of a file, and file operations. Today in this video, the elements to be discussed are the overview, file attributes, fundamental systems of a file, and file operations. A file is named for the ease of its users and it's referred by its name. A name is usually a string of characters like filename.cpp, along with an extension which designates a file format. Some systems like Linux distinguish between uppercase and characters in names, whereas other systems don't. When a file is given a name, it becomes independent of the process, the user, and also the system which created it. Let's suppose one user might make the file name filename.cpp, and another user might be editing that file by deducing its name. The file owner may write the file to a compact disk or send it via an email or copy it across a network, and it should still be called filename.cpp on the destination system. The file system consists of two distinct parts. First, a collection of files that stores related data, and a directory structure which organizes and provides information about all the files in the system. So these are the file concepts. First, uniform logical view of information storage. Second, the OS abstracts from physical properties into a logical storage unit, the file. Third, file mapped onto physical devices, usually non-volatile. Fourth, the file is a collection of related information. Fifth, smallest allotment of nameable storage, contiguous logical address, and may be free-form or rigidly formed. File structure. None. Sequence of words, bytes. Simple record structure, complex structures, and can simulate last two with first method by inserting appropriate control characters.
File directories. Collection of files is a file directory. The directory contains of information about the files, including attributes, location, and ownership. Much of this information, especially that is concerned with storage, is managed by the operating system. So the directory itself is a file. So it is accessible by various file management routines. So this line is the file directory. So it can be accessible by user 1, user 2, and user 3 by their various file management routine. So for example, user 1 wants to access DOG, XKC, and A, while user 2 wants to access DTR, A, PRS, and user 3 wants to access DOG, IMP, and SOS. Advantages. Efficiency. A file can be located more quickly. Naming. It becomes convenient for users as two users can have the same for different files or may have different name for the same files. Grouping. Logical grouping of files can be done by properties. File attributes. A file attributes vary from one operating system to another, but typically consist of this. Name. Name is a symbolic file name and is the only information kept in human readable form. So each file has a file name, and we all see this in a particular file. Identifier. This unique tag is a number that identifies the file within the file system. It is a non-human readable form of the file. Next, type. This information is needed for system which supports different types of files or its format. So, for example, when you have system that can support different types of files, each file is identified using different extensions. So, for example, .txt is a text file, .docs is a Word file, and PPT is a PowerPoint file. There are different types of file, and this is needed for the systems that support different types of file. Next one is location. This information is a pointer to a device which points to the location of the file on the device where it is stored. So the file is stored in the secondary storage device. So to access the contents of the file, we need to know where it is located. Next, size. It is the current size of the file or which possibly the maximum allowed size gets included in this attribute. Next, protection. Access control information establish who can do the reading, writing, and executing, etc. So next one, date, time, and user identification. So this information might be kept for the creation of file, its last modification, and last use. This data might be used for in the field of protection, security, and monitoring its usage. So this information are kept in the directory structures which is maintained on the disk.
So I'm here to discuss file operations. A file is an abstract data type. For defining a file properly, we need to consider operations that can be performed on files. The operating system can provide system calls to write, read, reposition, delete, and truncate files. There are 6 basic file operations within an operating system. These are creating a file. In creating a file, there are 2 steps necessary. First, space in the file system must be found for the file. We discussed how to allocate space for the file. Second, an entry for the new file must be made in the directory. Writing a file. To write a file, you make a system call specify about both the name of the file along with the information to be written to the file. Erasing the contents of a file but keep the attributes same. Rather than deleting the file and then recreate it, this utility allows all attributes to remain unchanged except the file length and let the user add or edit the file content. So next, I will discuss single level directory. In this, a single directory is maintained for all the users. Naming problem. Users cannot have same name for two files. Grouping problem. Users cannot group files according to their need. So next is two-level directory. In this, separate directories for each user is maintained. Path name. Due to 2 levels, there is a path name for every file to locate that file. Now, we can have same file name for different user. Searching is efficient in this method. For example, in this diagram, there are 3 directories. For let's say this is the desktop, this is the document, and this is the video. We can have a same file name within the same computer but in different directories.
To summarize, the file system is the most obvious aspect of any operating system. File is a collection of related information. A file is named for the ease of its users and is referred by its name. The file system consists of 2 distinct parts of a collection of files that stores related data and the directory structure, which organizes and provides information about all the files in the system. The file structure has 2 major structures: that simple records structure and complex structure. Collection of files is a file directory. There is an advantage of a file directory which is more efficient, easily named, and easier grouping. A file's attributes vary from one operating system to another. There are name, identifier, type, and such a file that abstract data type. And there are 7 operations, which is creating, writing, reading, repositioning, deleting, a transstructural, and operations of a file directory are single, 2-level, and 3 structures.